Another day, another BLM activist, cheerleader, drum major slain. And this brother, I remember this brother. I ain't even fronting. Sometimes people, people that aren't like super famous or have really high Q ratings, you hear about them in the news, you're like, oh, okay, that's messed up. I don't know that guy like that, but hey, you say he's famous. I actually remember this guy from a lot of different movies. He's a good character actor. He had range. He was a very good actor. Thomas Jefferson Byrd. I mean, and look at him next to Spike Lee. And this could have happened to Spike Lee. That's the craziest part about it. As a black man in America, you're a fool to be talking about white supremacy. It makes you look foolish. More black people are killed every year in squirrel attacks than are killed by white supremacists. I'm not talking about white people because, things happen, home invasions, different things. Homeowners kill people during home invasions. People get in arguments. Just things that happen on the street. It's very low for even just a regular white person. It's extremely, extremely rare. It's probably more black people get struck by lightning every year than they get killed by white people, but more black people get killed by squirrel attacks in America every year than white supremacists. And it's just sad when I see this because this brother was a big-time BLM guy. I mean, we'll get into it. So let's just get into it. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share these videos. It's very important to share these videos. I appreciate you guys. You guys shared a lot of the videos in late August, early September. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep sharing the videos because you have to understand that, you know. So, let's get into this brother, man, and what happened to him, man. Very sad.
Now, this afternoon, police working to find out who killed a well-known actor. People who knew Thomas Jefferson Byrd well said that he was an inspiration to so many. Channel 2's Tom Jones, live in Southwest Atlanta. Tom, were police looking for a suspect and a motive?
Yeah, that's right, Justin. Police are also trying to figure out what brought Thomas Jefferson Byrd to this neighborhood. I came back out here to where he was found dead, right there in this yard, to see if neighbors could answer that. I also talked to some of his longtime friends who...
They left this brother right there in that plot right there, man. This famous actor, this well-known Black Lives Matter activist, instrumental. They left him right here.
To where he was found dead, right there in this yard, to see if neighbors could answer that. I also talked to some of his longtime friends who can't believe he is gone.
I haven't really processed it.
Oscar Shepard is having a tough time believing his good friend Thomas Jefferson Byrd is gone.
It's like it's not real. Thomas is one of those guys that he was so full of life, that's the only way you can think of.
Police say someone shot the 70-year-old well-known actor multiple times early Saturday morning on Belvedere Avenue in Southwest Atlanta. Robert Calloway says he found Byrd lying in his mother's yard.
I rolled by, saw him laying down, went straight to the fire station.
To get help, I asked if he knew Byrd.
I don't. I really don't.
But some neighbors say Byrd once asked where Calloway lived.
I really don't. But Byrd once asked where Calloway lived, according to neighbors. Either you don't know him or you really don't. I mean, which one is it? I really don't.
Robert Calloway says he found Byrd lying in his mother's yard.
I rolled by, saw him laying down, went straight to the fire station.
To get help, I asked if he knew Byrd.
I don't. I really don't.
But some neighbors say Byrd once asked where Calloway lived. The movie-making community is grieving over Byrd's death. He played in several of Spike Lee's films, like Get on the Bus. He commented on social media that he was sad to announce the tragic murder of his beloved brother. Byrd grew up in Griffin, Georgia.
First time I saw him was on Get on the Bus.
Former Griffin mayor and current city commissioner Rodney McCord says his mother went to school with Byrd, and he met him a few times. McCord says gun violence has disrupted the lives of too many.
And just to see him go that way is just really sad.
See him go that way is really sad. If this had been a fucking crackhead that got killed by police, a crackhead could have grabbed the police's gun and shot the police, and the police could have fucking pushed the crackhead down. The crackhead could have hit his head and died. This nigga would be crying. I'm talking about not in Griffin, wherever this is, wherever they from, and like somewhere way on the West Coast. Some little town he never heard of. He'd be crying. Something wrong with black folk mind, man. Literally, his city would be burning. This mayor, because you know, racist America. America's such a racist place. This black mayor of this city his city would be burning. He would have to be having to come out and make us with a bullhorn and talk to the rioters to try to get them to go in the house. If in another city 300,000 miles away, a goddamn crackhead choked on his own vomit in the back of a squad car. And early reports were that the police killed him. I promise you that. You know how Maxwell said, don't ever wonder? Don't ever wonder. I promise you that. I promise you that. Don't ever wonder.
And just to see him go that way is just really sad.
And police say they are following up on several leads. Also spoke to one of Byrd's longtime friends, someone he grew up with in Griffin. She called him a pioneer, a trailblazer. I'll be putting that part of the story together for Channel 2 Action News at 5. We're live in Southwest Atlanta. Tom Jones, Channel 2 Action News.
Breaking news. Atlanta man, age 30, is arrested in the shooting death of Spike Lee movie actor Thomas Jefferson Byrd. Oh my God. Listen. And I want you guys to, if you're operating heavy machinery, cut the machine off. If you have a pacemaker or anything, don't watch this video, because I got some shocking details for you about this 30-year-old man. So everybody sitting down. Make sure you sit down. If you're driving, pull over, because I don't want you to, this is going to be shocking. This will give you heart palpitations. All right? You've been warned. So here's the shocking details about the 30-year-old man who killed Thomas Jefferson Byrd. It was a brother. A young brother. The warrior class claims another. And this is the type of brother that this guy was advocating for. These misunderstood brothers, these victims of white supremacy, the only reason they're ever in jail, I say let this brother go. How many of y'all feel me on that? Because if this guy, Demetrius, his name Demetrius, if Demetrius had killed somebody else, a guy like Thomas Jefferson Byrd would be calling for him to be released, or he got too harsh of a sentence. If he was white, he wouldn't. Or if he had evaded, say this guy Demetrius had evaded police. He obviously didn't give the police a hard time. He's in custody. He didn't get killed. But let's just say this guy had done this to someone else. A guy like Thomas Jefferson Byrd, a Black Lives Matter activist, would be talking about it's something to do with the system, or has something to do with white supremacy. It was everything except for the fact that this nigga's probably a psychopath. Or just a homie, a hoodlum. A real nigga out here in these streets. It would have been everything except for that. He needed money or he needed opportunity. He ain't had nothing to do. It wasn't enough rec centers. So Antonio Demetrius Rhymes, 30, and killed him. 1:45 a.m. Shot him multiple times in the back. Now the WNBA, they got a big problem with people getting shot in the back. They almost ended their season. Well, actually, not just the WNBA, the NBA and the WNBA. They almost ended the season abruptly during the bubble because a guy got shot in the back. And they felt like he shouldn't have got shot in the back that many times. He didn't do nothing. And I know the NBA season is over, but maybe they'll postpone the beginning of the next season for this brother because he got shot in the back multiple times. And there was a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest. Earlier in the month, Atlanta police shared that there was surveillance footage showing the actor leaving a local store near his home the day he was murdered. So he probably got robbed. Here go the guy. Here go our buddy. Here go our buddy Demetrius, man. And Anthony Demetrius Rhymes. Here you go right here. Man. So, about our friend Thomas Jefferson Byrd. Byrd starred in several of Lee's films, including Clockers, Get on the Bus, Bamboozled, He Got Game, Red Hook Summer, Chirac, and more. Dang. The 30-year-old is being booked into the Fulton County Jail. He is facing felony murder charges. Friends say Byrd was not just an actor. He was an activist, trying to make this world a better place. Juliet McCann grew up with Byrd in Griffin, Georgia. They went to high school together, kept in contact. Byrd recently sent McCann a text with a message for her children. He said, to make sure you tell them to stay prayerful and that Black Lives Matter. McCann said, we had no idea that would be our last conversation. McCann called Thomas Jefferson Byrd a trailblazer and said he once returned to her school to choreograph a student performance for Black History Month. Believe me when I tell you that performance was absolutely awesome, she said. Got taken out by a homie. Probably just a robbery. Just a simple robbery. Nothing, no Illuminati, not the powers that be, not the skull and crossbones, not a sacrifice, a Spike Lee. Spike Lee killed him because he had to do a blood sacrifice so that he could make another movie and shit. Watch Spike Lee's next movie be real big because he sacrificed his friend. None of that. None of that bullshit, nigga. Regular encounter with the third kind. Encounters with the third kind, the Negro kind. Okay? An encounter with the Negro kind. Alright? Cut it out, nigga. Just an encounter with the Negro kind. On to Chicago. So we left one Democratic city, Atlanta, where our friend, very Very, very important person in this community. Very conscious brother. Thomas Jefferson Byrd was gunned down by a disenfranchised Joe Biden supporter. You know that brother wasn't supporting Trump. On to Chicago. Another city run by a sister. Just like in Atlanta, you got Keisha Lance Bottoms. In Chicago, you got Lori Lightfoot. And in her cesspool of a war zone city, state representative was robbed at gunpoint while on a jog near University of Chicago. Now we heard about Ahmaud Arbery. Because you can't jog when you're black, you know? Black people can't jog in this country. According to LeBron James, you can't even go for a jog. And the reason you can't go for a jog is because of white supremacists. Yeehaw! The more white supremacists in the pickup truck gonna come shoot you for no reason other than being black. So when your loved one go for a jog, you gotta hug and kiss them because you never know. They're gonna make it back home because of white supremacists. But this brother upstanding brother. Look at this brother, man. Done went to school, got his life together. Never had to turn his life around. Life was already on the right path. He wasn't about to go to college. Wouldn't have done better if he wasn't in the white supremacist system. Found a way to make it through this white supremacist system that's always holding black people back. This brother actually made it. I don't know how. I don't know. Miracle. But this brother actually made it out of this white supremacy morass that's holding brothers back from succeeding. An Illinois state representative was robbed at gunpoint while on the jog near the University of Chicago Wednesday afternoon. State Representative Curtis Tarver of the 25th District was jogging Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Broad daylight. 4:30 p.m. in the 6300 block of South Woodlawn. He says, I decided to turn left. And maybe 3 seconds later, one of the gentlemen, so we know it's not a white guy because they would have said it. If this brother, Curtis Tarver, was robbed by a white guy, State Representative Curtis Tarver was robbed by a white guy, we would know it already. It would have been in the headline, but by the least, we would know it already. So he says, I decided to turn left, and maybe 3 seconds later, one of the gentlemen was behind me with the firearm right behind my ear. And you know what? I resent that, him calling this guy a gentleman. Because me, a person like me, or people in this chat right now, watching this video, that are more conservative or right-leaning, good people, fine people, just have a different political view. See a different vision for the black community or just for the country. This guy would not call you a gentleman. He would call you everything except for a child of God. And he would accuse you with your one vote. Your one vote of trying to destroy the black community and shit. With your one vote. Cast all type of aspersions on you because your one vote. Accuse you of shit. Add all type of ulterior motives to why you doing what you do. But he calls these guys who put a gun to his head gentlemen. Tarver said he was surprised it happened in his own district. Why? I just don't get these liberals, man. They think they safe for some reason. They know they not safe. Didn't Lori Lightfoot, the mayor, ban the rioters from being up near her house? She had a whole police battalion outside of her house protecting her block, making sure the rioters and the looters didn't come out there during the height of the George Floyd thing. Most of these state representatives and congressmen and all that stuff, they get escorted to the meeting where they want to talk about defunding police, to their little conference or press conference about defunding the police. They get escorted there by police, security detail. I bet this brother has a security detail most times. But he went for a jog. He thought he was safe to go through a jog through his district because, you know, the homies give a shit about who the fucking state representative is. That means something to them. They down with you. You'll fight against saving them from white supremacy. He says, it was unexpected in my district. I'm at a point where I can't drive in my district because I get pulled over by 6 Chicago police officers and get harassed. This brother talking about he get pulled over by 6 Chicago police officers and get harassed. So now he can't even drive in his district. Well, nigga, you can't jog either. I can't run in my district because I get robbed by offenders with firearms. These liberals, it's hard to feel sorry for these liberals. Hit one if it's very hard for you to feel sorry for these liberals. They make it extremely hard to have sympathy for them. So he goes on to say, the police said that the suspects are minors. No other information about the suspects other than that they're minors. And our friend Curtis Tarver goes on to say, certainly a 16-year-old cannot go into a store and buy a firearm legally. Well, however old these kids, I don't know how old they are. So that's a problem. Somehow these firearms are getting into these neighborhoods. Shut the fuck. Somehow these firearms are getting you. That's a setup to blame it on white people. Somehow these firearms are getting into these neighborhoods. Nigga, if you don't pipe your ass down, these days it's called the fucking illegal gun trade. It's happening all over the country, everywhere. Only problem is a certain group that kill people with them. Everybody buy illegal guns. Go to Appalachia. Go down to Cajun country in New Orleans. Go out to Montana, Wyoming. There's a legal gun trade out there. Only problem is you niggas is the ones killing each other over with these shits. Stop acting like there's some mystery Illuminati boogeyman that's putting guns in black neighborhoods. Stop that shit. Stop that shit right now. And if you take that shit somewhere else, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. It's plenty of channels to go to. We don't do that here. Hit the like button while you at it. We don't do that here. It's not something we do here. It's not some spooky boogie man. It's Ray, man, Killer, Black, Boo, Mookie, Trey something, Love something, Mars something, Just something, something Quan, something Tell, something Arius, something Avius, that's selling these goddamn guns in the fucking neighborhood and bringing them in the neighborhood. Cut this bullshit out. somehow these firearms are getting into these things, nigga. So Tarver said he feels bad for the kids who have to resort to illegal activity, but was happy to make it home for a daddy-daughter date with his 7-year-old. So this brother, and you can see he's obviously married to a black woman, but this brother feels bad for these kids. He calls them gentlemen. But a dude like me, if he heard about me or saw one of my videos or saw one of my tweets, I'd be everything except for a fucking child of God. And so would all you that are watching this video and not being disgusted right now. It ain't you that's watching these videos and you're not appalled. I'm telling YouTube. He shouldn't be able to talk like this. Black people shouldn't be able to talk like this. I'm giving YouTube a call right now, telling them about this guy. He's to be stopped. If you're not doing that, this motherfucker right here, Curtis Tarver, will probably call you a fucking coon to your face, nigga. In all, you know, in no uncertain terms. He seemed like he probably was a nice guy, but he would, for all intents and purposes, you know, he'd be like, brother, why are you doing that? Don't you know that Trump is destroying the black community? Don't you know that all the problems in the community are because of Trump? Who's paying you, brother? How you let these people fool you like this? Why do you hate yourself so much? Did something happen? Nah, nigga, something happened to you, motherfucker. You just got robbed by some little fucking kids. Some little baby kids. Robbed your ass. Something happened to you, nigga. Did something happen to you? You know, ain't that what the fucking black, the fucking... Something must have happened to you. You must have got beat up a lot when you was a kid. That's how these type of niggas talk. You must have got beat up a lot. You sound like you used to get chased home from school. Damn, it sound like niggas in the hood, was it? No, nigga, that shit just happened to your monkey ass. Nah, nigga, that just happened to you. Damn, who hurt you? Who the fuck just hurt you? They still out there hurting other black people. Who hurt you, man? Damn, man. You tell you I ain't cooning. Who hurt you? No, mother, who hurt you? Cause you fucking pro-blacks is getting fucked up in the game. And if you want to help assist me to keep chronicling these pro-blacks getting what they apparently, I'm starting to think they deserve. Make sure you hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that Super Chat. Don't treat me like a stepchild. Don't come here for shit you can't get nowhere else. And then don't support this shit. Then I watch them other live streams. Like, god damn, nigga. They get love over there. And salute to them. More power to them. Even though they don't agree with me ideologically. So that's I don't care if they don't agree with me. I only care about this channel. And what I'm on. Good for them. If you want to hear that, the white man is the problem, go over there. We don't do that here. We just report the facts. But yeah, I'm starting to think these motherfuckers deserve this shit, man. I really am. I'm starting to think these motherfuckers deserve this shit. Because they aid and abet these little motherfuckers to be terrorizing the community Why not you get some every now and then? And then even after they get it, they still talking that spooky shit. Like the white man, somehow it's the laws. Like, I'm surprised this motherfucker didn't say nothing about the Second Amendment or some shit like that. I'm literally surprised by that. I'm surprised he ain't blaming on Trump. These kids don't have the resources. They need resources, and we need to get Biden in so that we can get resources for these kids.
Yeah, no charges have been filed, but the shooting that happened Wednesday morning, it's raising a lot of questions about what exactly did happen. The Pennsylvania Attorney General's office confirms it's investigating while an employee with the Philly DA's office may have shot and killed a man Wednesday morning.
I was getting some coffee. I heard two shots.
Arnold Brown lives near the parking lot at the corner of Lehigh and Napa Street, where the shooting happened. He says hearing gunfire isn't unusual on his block, but he hasn't seen police respond so quickly after hearing it before.
I really wouldn't assume someone would shoot somebody in broad daylight.
Philadelphia police say detectives are finalizing their investigative work to pass off to the state AG. We do not know why the DA's employee was here or why he allegedly fired twice. U.S. Attorney Bill McSwain tweeted a highly critical message Thursday, saying in part, your Philly DA's office, where Krasner hires an employee who allegedly ends up shooting and killing a man. You can't even make this stuff up. The U.S. Attorney says his office will be watching this ongoing investigation. And the Philly District Attorney's Office hasn't responded to any specific questions about this shooting. Again, no charges have been filed. The State Attorney General's Office did take over this investigation. That is to avoid even the appearance of a conflict with the Philly DA's office. It's the latest in North Philly. I'm Mitch Blocker, NBC 10 News.
Eagles fans.
All right, so Philly's DA's office employee kills armed sex worker in self-defense. There's a guy who works for the DA's office. Had to kill a mug. A gun violence counselor, an employee with the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, shot and killed an armed sex worker who tried to rob him at gunpoint. Remember we heard about sending out social workers? Remember we heard about that? You don't hear about it too much anymore. We need trained medical health aides and social workers and gun violence counselors to go out into the community. And that'll change things. No more black men to get shot. No more brothers to get shot. We just get rid of these damn cops. Because the only reason brothers get shot is because cops. That's the problem in the community. Cops are the problem. Remove them from the situation. Replace them with gun violence counselors, social workers, mental health aides, violence interrupters, and that'll kill everything. A gun violence counselor and employee with the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office shot and killed an armed sex worker who tried to rob him at gunpoint, officials confirmed with NBC 10. On Tuesday, shortly before 10 a.m., an armed 31-year-old man tried to rob another man on the 2600 block of North Napa Street in the Strawberry Mansion neighborhood. Very violent area. That's where Meek Mill from. Philadelphia police said the second man fired his own weapon, shooting the 31-year-old in the chest once. The 31-year-old man was pronounced dead at the scene. The man who shot him was not injured during the incident and has not been charged. Wednesday night, a spokesperson for the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office confirmed with NBC 10 that the 31-year-old gunman was a sex worker, while the man who shot him was an employee with the Philadelphia District Attorney's office who also works as a gun violence counselor for the district's attorney's immediate response team. NBC 10 reached out to the Philadelphia District Attorney's office for comment. So, and this is something they have in these democratically run cities. An immediate response team. Gun violence counselors. And now one of them has killed somebody. Will there be protests? Will there be protests? This guy he with the law. He part of the authority. He authority figure. You know how niggas hate authority. And I love seeing the left eat itself. I love it. I love seeing the left eat itself. I love it. I love seeing the left eat itself. It feels so good. These people, these employees for these leftist programs, these ridiculous leftist programs and these ridiculous leftist ideas. These aren't even like, these are like, we're just going to send out gun violence counselors into the community instead of cops. And that'll cure everything. Programs. That's all it is more programs. That's all that defund the police shit is more programs.
Police are investigating a shooting yesterday that killed a young man. He was supposed to be part of a program to protect him from gun violence. The shooting happened in Southwest Philadelphia. Joe Holton is live with the latest. Joe?
Jessica, tonight a 20-year-old is no longer with us, and police sources are wondering if there could have been more done to save his life. A man named Quadir Patterson was shot and left to die in the Southwest Philadelphia alleyway on Sunday. A day later, police sources claim Patterson had been identified as high risk by a fairly new gun violence prevention program. Documents show that meant factors developed by the city's Office of Violence Prevention's Group Violence Initiative singled Patterson out. But those police sources say despite the claim he was a candidate, he never got a call. The motive for the deadly shooting is unknown. Patterson's killer is still out there. It's unfortunate.
If I was his family, I would sue the city. You got this program. If I was his family, I would sue the city. You got this program out here where you supposed to be identifying troubled youth that are at risk of getting shot in Philadelphia, and they all black. And you and all you feed these niggas is programs, not fathers. You feed them mama and her kids. And the government to do the rest. Okay, government, you failed. You were supposed to call this kid and tell him that he was at risk of getting shot. As if he didn't already know that. As if he didn't already fucking know that. As if that was a news flash to him. You were supposed to call him and be like, hey, Quadir, can I speak to Quadir Patterson? Yeah, this him. Yeah, Quadir, I'm with the gun violence response team, and we singled you out as someone who is likely to get shot and killed in the streets of Philadelphia. You know, because he didn't know that. Well, no shit, motherfucker. I'm beefing with 4 different blocks right now. I was in 2 shootouts last week. Thanks for telling me. Like, what the fuck is going on in these liberal cities? This is the best you can do? You could do this with every fucking kid.
Group Violence Initiative singled Patterson out. But those police sources say despite the claim he was a candidate, he never got a call. The motive for the deadly shooting is unknown. Patterson's killer is still out there.
And it's unfortunate that at such a young age that he would be taken away.
Neighbors like Darren Friend shake their heads at violence that has swept through their city, the likes of an epidemic.
We need much, much stricter gun laws. I'm so afraid a kid can get a gun anywhere. You understand? This is a 20-year-old young man that was killed. Who knows who killed him? It may have been a 15-year-old or a 14-year-old. Those are the things that we have to deal with. And I'm afraid for the children. I'm afraid for my community. I'm afraid for my parents. I'm afraid for my own child.
Meanwhile, the city's Group Violence Initiative in 2020 had a budget of more than $500,000 to fund caseworkers' efforts to alert and pinpoint those believed to be in danger of becoming victims of gun violence. That budget figure for 2021 is $750,000. This as the city grapples with surging homicide and shooting rates.
All this gun violence that's happening is because they're not given the opportunity to be shown it's a better thing in life besides being on the corner.
All this gun violence is happening is because they're not being given. He starts the sentence with they're not being given. These motherfuckers live in America. They got no access to everything. The worst schools in America are better than the best schools in Africa and in many parts of Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia, in Central America, Mexico. The worst schools in the, they don't even have heat and they share books and shit. They ain't got no computers, none of that stuff in them other countries. And then people come here and run circles around Negroes. Then people come here and run circles around Negroes. Hit one if you saw my story on the Bangladeshi, the tutoring farms they got in New York for the Bangladesh, the Bengali kids. Tutoring farms in New York. They pumping out successful young people. I don't hear that shit. I'll put a link to that video in the description box on the tutoring farms in fucking New York, where these Bengali kids go and get drilled on fucking math, science, and everything, and they pumping out a whole generation of people that's running circles around niggas.
That budget figure for 2021 is $750,000. This as the city grapples with surging homicide and shooting rates.
All this gun violence that's happening is because they're not given the opportunity to be shown it's a better thing in life besides being on the corner or being somewhere else.
And a spokesperson for the Philadelphia Police Department tells me they could not comment on whether Patterson was a candidate for the program. Doing so would have undermined the integrity of the program itself. We are also working efforts to get a statement from the city's Office of Violence Prevention. Those efforts are underway as we speak. We should note, though, that it is a holiday for city workers today, so we are waiting for that statement. Live in Southwest Philadelphia, I'm Joe Holden, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, guys. So hold the phone on that on this DA gun violence counselor shooting and killing a male prostitute. Here's what really happened. As a member of the district attorney's immediate response team, Devontae Douglas, who's the gun violence counselor, Devontae Douglas routinely goes out to crime scenes, hospitals, and the medical examiner's offices when there's been a homicide to aid victims and families. Shortly before 10 a.m. yesterday, Douglas had an up-and-close and personal experience involving a homicide in a case where Douglas was identified by police as the shooter. But according to Douglas's version of the story, he was also a crime victim. It happened shortly before 10 a.m. yesterday at the intersection of 31st and Lehigh Streets. adjacent to the Mount Peace Cemetery. At a time when most employees at the DA's office are expected to be at work. At a time when most employees at the DA's office are expected to be at work. Okay. You're a little... God, dog. Douglas told police he shot and killed Vernon Harris. Give me a race on Vernon Harris. Whom he met on Instagram. And agreed to a sexual encounter in exchange for money. Police said this was a hookup. This brother supposed to be at work. This gun violence counselor supposed to be at work. And he out here hooking up with male prostitutes. The left, man. These liberals, man. These liberals are something else, man. And they want to run the whole country. They don't just want to run Philly and Atlanta and Chicago, which they're doing a fine job of. According to the police, the two black males met at 27th and Cambria. Douglas, who's 28, of the 2900 block of North Banbury Street, got into a white Dodge Durango driven by Harris, who's 31, of the 1800 block of Harrison Street. Then they drove to the cemetery. After their encounter, which took place in the back seat of the vehicle, so they consummated that. They did that. It went down. It went down. At the cemetery, by the in the back seat of a Dodge Durango. Good God Almighty. Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. These liberals, man. This is what these people in Philly paying for. These people supposed to replace the police. After their encounter, which took place in the back seat of a vehicle with the windows open. God, dog. Douglas told police Harris stood outside the vehicle and pointed a gun at him and demanded all his money. Harris then placed his gun inside his waistband. But when Harris started reaching around the vehicle, Douglas, the gun violence interrupter, the gun violence counselor, told police that he feared that Harris was going to take out his gun again and shoot him. So Douglas drew his gun and shot Harris twice in the chest, killing him. Then he ran across Lehigh Avenue, pleading for someone to call police. Police recovered a 9mm gun registered to Douglas. Douglas, who was wearing his DA's ID badge around his neck, was transported to the homicide unit. The case was subsequently referred to the state attorney general's office. A spokesperson for the attorney general said, but to date, no arrest has been made. So that brother ain't been arrested. Douglas, the gun violence counselor, ain't been arrested for hooking up with a male prostitute. he pulled a lunchtime Andrew Gillum, man. He pulled a little Andrew Gillum on his lunch break. He had to whack a brother. He ain't arrested. The robber, the alleged robber, we don't know if that's what really happened. We just gotta take this guy's word for it. But the alleged robber, Harris, had a dozen prior arrests, including 3 for robbery, as well as for assault, theft, criminal mischief, and narcotics. What a racist country when you could have a dozen prior arrests, including 3 for robbery, and be on the streets committing another robbery. I believe it now. I actually believe it now. Knowing he's been arrested 3 times for robbery, I believe it now. What a terrible, this country's just screwing over the black man. No pun intended. My man got a dozen prior arrests. I tell you this all the time. And if he would have resisted arrest and got shot, everybody would have been like, the police, he was scared. He ain't know how to react around the police because he's a black man. He's scared of the police. It would sound like these niggas are scared of the police. So the robber had a dozen prior arrests, including 3 for robbery, as well as for assault, theft, criminal mischief, and narcotics. His last arrest was on July 14, 2019 for robbery, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment. He was out on bail of $30,000, which means he only had to put down 10%, which is $3,000. I want you to remember this. Your violence counselor was just trying to get a little lunchtime Andrew Gillum on, trying to get us Gillum on. No harm, no foul. That happened to a co-worker of mine at Home Depot. He's the overnight manager. They started a new thing where they would let the guys go out and get something to eat overnight. Usually, it used to be overnight you couldn't leave the building. Then they started letting them out overnight. Like a week later, this nigga goes down to the Hostro, right around the corner from the store, and gets busted by a undercover cop trying to solicit a date. Never made it back to work. Fucked up part is his girl worked there too. That was just a big mess. I've seen this happen before. And I know dudes have done this and didn't get caught. But that's one thing to get caught by undercover trying to solicit a prostitute on your lunch break. It's another thing to have to kill that the prostitute and he tried to rob you. And then to find out that the prostitute had robbed somebody just last year, it was out on bail. $3,000. He paid $3,000 and got out of jail. So if this country was really as racist and hating black people as much, none of this would be happening. This whole story, none of this video would happen this whole video wouldn't happen if it was bad as it is for you niggas as you say it is. Man, get in the comment section, man. Hit that like button, subscribe, donate, hit that super chat, PayPal, Cash App. Peace, I'm out.